Hi guys, I hope you're well. So the other day I came across a video on YouTube by Matthew Smith, who is the founder of saxophonestudies.com. I'll put the link up to the video so you can have a look at the original when I saw it. And I thought it was a fantastic video. It's basically showing you how you can get started as an absolute beginner, which is what I am, improvising on the blues scales. So I love improvising. That was one of the reasons I got into the saxophone, and I love the sound of the blues. And I've kind of got a bit of an idea of what makes a kind of a set of notes sound bluesy. And what Matthew does is he basically introduces you to just a couple of notes at a time that start off straight away sounding quite bluesy, and you can develop it into a lot more. So this is kind of my attempt at doing what Matthew has described in this particular saxophone study. So as I say, I'll put the link up in a minute. So basically what Matthew says is you can start off sounding quite bluesy with just a couple of notes. So he said try just making some patterns using just two notes, the D and the F. So I'm going to do that now. So this is basically just improvising with just those two notes. So even with just those two notes, it starts to sound a little bit bluesy and soulful. I think Matthew described it as, which is great. I really like the sound of that. So that was just with the D and the F. The next note he suggests that you add is the G. So I'm going to do that as well. So then you've got three notes: the D, the F, and the G. So just three notes, it's already starting to sound a little bit more interesting. And then the next note, which he says, so you've got the D, the F and the G. The next note is the G sharp. Now the G sharp is what they call a blues note. In a scale, to make it a blues scale, you have one note which is particularly flattened, and you'll be able to kind of tell it straight away. If I play those four notes, the D, the F, the G, and then the G sharp, it sounds great. I just love the sound of that. So that last note sounds great. So again, just with four notes, let's see what I can come up with. So it's definitely that kind of the D at the bottom there, and the G sharp kind of just makes some great sounds there. So you're gradually expanding the notes that you're using, and I've got to admit, as a beginner, the more notes that you include, the harder it gets in a way, because you've got so many to choose from. It's difficult without knowing kind of what patterns make good patterns. But I guess that's just practicing, and that's exactly what Matthew said in his video. Spend time trying out all these different patterns. So what was that? D, F, G and G sharp. The next one is the A. So you then got so that's the A at the end to add to it. So let's just see what we can come up with. So already I think with that extra note I'm starting to find almost patterns that don't sound quite as good as the others. So that was D, F, G, G sharp and A, and then the last two notes that you add are a C and then the D with the octave key, so you're kind of going back to complete the scale, if you like, by having the D at the end. So the full scale, just going up, is right. So then obviously you can use that, and then you can use all of those notes in the upper register by just using the octave key as well. But as I say, it's kind of the more notes there are, I find it harder to come up with really good patterns. But let's see, based on the whole scale there, let's see what I can come up with. So again, I almost kind of felt there that I was struggling to come up with interesting patterns as I was having more scales, more notes to think about. But I think I just wanted to say a massive thank you to Matthew for sharing his video with us. So I'll put the link to that original video with Matthew, who explains it all a lot better than I did. So just up here, somewhere up there, I'll put that link. And if you're a beginner like me and you want to start fiddling about with improvising and blues, I think just starting off with 2, 3, 4 notes there is fantastic. And that scale that he taught us there, that's called the D minor blues scale. And there are lots more blues scales as well, but I think that's a great way to start. So thanks ever so much for watching that. Thanks ever so much, Matthew, for sharing that originally with us. And bye for now, guys.